Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to a different type of video that I normally have on this channel. Typically don't do face-to-face type videos, but in this video we're going to be talking about 2026 planners and then my thoughts going into my purchases that I'm going to be making within the next week or so and what I plan on purchasing for 2026. So I will say, going into 2026, I had a plan. I was going to get the Hobonichi Cousin avec because I have been a Hobonichi Cousin fan since 2023. It is the perfect planner for me. I have very little complaints, and I thought I was going to be doing a 2026 Hobonichi planner along with the common planner for my work and maybe a Hobonichi weeks in 2026. Those were my original plans, but other planners have kind of caught my attention, and I want to talk through how my plans have changed for 2026. So we're just going to go ahead and jump right into it and start talking through some of the planners that I had my eye on and the pros, the cons, kind of my concerns and thoughts were regarding all these planners. So if you are in a uncertain spot when it comes to what planners you want to use in 2026, or you are interested in getting a new planner for 2026, then go ahead and keep watching and we'll talk through some of the planners that caught my eye. I am going to be doing a screen record so that way you can kind of see what I'm looking at on my laptop. So the first planner I want to talk about is going to be the Hobonichi. That has been my go-to planner since 2023. So some of the pluses that I have when it comes to the Hobonichi Cousin is it has the full year option. It has the half year option as well, which I adore because it helps reduce the bulk of the Hobonichi Cousin. This does have the monthly spread, the weekly spreads, has all of the daily spreads, so you get a full page for each day. So I use that as a daily journal. It has a year at a glance. It has a bunch of stuff into it. I will say the avec currently does not have an English version. It does have the Japanese version. In addition, the avec and the Cousin do have at the very bottom quotes and like sayings and things at the bottom of every single page. It reduces the amount of writing space that you do have. It does also have the Saturday and Sunday is a different color. The colors are kind of, while it's very neutral in my opinion, it does have some colors associated with it that to some might be distracting and annoying. Some of the cons with the Hobonichi though, in 2025, I did know, or I had seen that people had complaints when it came to the paper and were having some issues with kind of bleed through, I guess. I did not have that problem, so I was one of the lucky ones. I had no issues with my 2025 Hobonichi Cousin. As a side note, I work full time, I have a family, I have a lot of stuff going on, so I did not do a ton of research. This is just what I have found with the amount of time I have been allotted to do research. This is what I have found. So this is not set in stone. Do your own research, and I could be wrong in some of the statements that I'm going to make in this video. If you are interested in the Hobonichi, you can purchase it from the Hobonichi websites August 31st at 10 p.m. Eastern. This year also, if you buy a Hobonichi, it does come with I think it's like a blue-gray Unijet stream. And you get a little mini metal robot, I guess, is part of their like free gifts. So if you do purchase from the Hobonichi website, you will also receive those. Now let's talk about the other planner that has kind of taken over, and I think this is the planner I'm going to get for 2026. But we will have to see if that's actually going to be the case or not. And that is the common planner. Now in 2025, I do have a common planner for work. I have a B5 compact common planner that I use for my work planner for notes and things like that. It works really well. I was still planning on getting the common planner for work and not the B5, but I'll probably end up getting the A5 is what I was thinking about. However, in 2026, Sterling Ink is releasing 2 new planners, which is the Complete Planner and the Core Planner. These are probably going to be the 2 planners that I will end up purchasing. I think, unfortunately, I was hoping that the website would have information on the Complete Planner and the Core Planner, but it doesn't currently. There is a Instagram reel that I did see for these planners, and it seems very interesting. I think this is going to be the planner that I'm going to go forward with. The Complete Planner has all the spreads with the dated daily pages. It also is, what I don't know is the layout for the Complete Planner has the page. We'll just pretend like page 1 is the month spread of January. And then on page 3 is the first weekly spread of that week of January. And then on the very next page behind the weekly spread is the 7 days of daily pages for that week. And then you flip, and then it goes to the second weekly spread. So you have the daily pages behind each weekly spread. So you don't have to, in the Hobonichi Cousin, you have to flip to the middle to the back of the book to get to the daily pages. This new planner will actually put those daily pages in the beginning. So it kind of reduces you having to flip back and forth throughout your planner, which I'm unsure if I'm going to like. I think it's going to be convenient, but I don't know if I'm going to like that idea. I'm not quite sure. Those are the uncertainties that I have when it comes to the common planner. And because there's no details right now, I don't know 100% how that's going to go. One of the other uncertainties I have is this planner is only in hardback. So I've never had a hardback planner before. I've always had these soft, flexible back planners. And so I don't know if I'm gonna like the hardback. That's another uncertainty with me. The con that I have, that I think, because I have no details right now, the negative that I can see toward the Complete Planner in 2026 is it's only in a full year. From what I can tell right now, once the website is updated and more details are there, maybe this might change. But from what I have seen, the example that I saw was a full year. I don't like full years because it increases the possibility of a lot of bulk. So there's that. So that's the Complete Planner. This is the planner I think I'm going to end up trying for 2026. I think this is bumping my Hobonichi Cousin Avec out for 26 so I can give this planner a try. So this is probably going to be my number 1 purchase. And the common planner, or the Sterling Ink purchases for 2026, they are open on September the 5th at 10 a.m. Eastern. So I have another week or so to make my determination for whether I'm going to go with Sterling Ink or if I'm going to go with Hobonichi, but I'm thinking it's going to be the Complete Planner for 2026. Now, the Core Planner, I think I'm going to end up getting this for my work planner. Instead of the B6 Common Planner Compact, I think I'm going to end up getting the Core Planner instead to use for my work planner. This one, the Core Planner, from what I understand at this point, it is a monthly spread and it does have the weekly spreads, and it only has 25 blank pages at the back of the book instead of the amount of pages that were in the previous Common Planner. And that's what something is very intriguing and very appealing to me when it comes to a work planner. Right now, I don't know of any cons for the Core Planner because it is just a weekly and a monthly spread. That's all that I need for work. I don't need a daily journal for work. I already have that daily journal in my other Complete Planner potentially. And then the unknowns that I have is basically the same unknowns that I have with the Complete Planner. I don't really have the details right now because the website's not updated. It's also, I believe, in hardback, which I don't know if I'm going to like. With my work planner, I think it might be okay because it's not going to be super bulky. but I don't quite know. So this one is a very unknown for me, but I really think that in 2026, I'm going to be a Sterling Ink planner instead of a Hobonichi planner, but we'll see. Some of the other planners that did catch my attention, and this was all because of a previous video that I put on my channel. I had asked the question of what type of planners people are interested in 2026, and these are some of the comments and some of the companies that were recommended or comments were made, and the ones that I kind of drew my attention. So the first one I'm going to talk about is Just Scribbles. So this one you can do pre-orders now for your 2026 planners, and on the website they do have 2026 planners in a horizontal, a vertical planner. They also have a plans weekly duo. They have a plans quarterly undated, plans monthly, and plans daily. So there's a bunch of different types of planners that they have available on their website now. I'm going to look at the vertical ones, which is kind of what, if I got a daily planner, like my everyday planner, this is probably what I would end up getting. So with this, the website does say you can pre-order now. It is anticipated to ship on or before October 31st. And then we'll go ahead and kind of go through some of the things that are listed on the website. So some of the positives that I have is it seems to where this has pretty much all of the spreads that I do like. There are other spreads that I don't really think I would care for, such as the annual and goals page. Not something I would probably end up using. There is kind of a tracker, weekly and daily tracking that they have for each of the months, which is good. I probably wouldn't end up using it very much. They do have a quarterly page. There's a recap page. Then you have monthly spreads. You have weekly spreads, which looks very similar to the Hobonichi Cousin, which I do like. It has from 5 a.m. all the way down to, it looks like 11 p.m. So you don't get a full 24 hours, but it is, I feel like, a good time frame that typical people would use. Obviously, if you work third shift, this is going to apply, but most others, this time bracket would suffice for what we need. It does have daily pages. This does have kind of just a grid, and that's it. There's no time or like a time blocking or anything over here. It is basically just a open page that is dated, and so you get a lot of space for a daily page. And then this last tab is kind of just the idea of the grid space that you get. So that is the Just Scribbles. So this one would suffice for everything I need. This also does come in a half year, so it's just very similar to the Avec. You get a 2-book dated planner. And then with this, it does have different paper. So it has 75 GSM, B7, which I guess is formerly the Cosmo Air Light. I have never used that paper. I've only used the Tomoe River paper, so I don't quite know what that is, but it is that type of paper in this planner. It does have softbound, lay flats, it's got page numbers, and it does have a bunch of things associated with the Just Scribbles planner. So this was also very high on my list. I think this could be a very good option for me if I decide to choose something different going forward. This is also only in an A5. So this was very close to the top of my list as something to try going into 2026. And probably if Sterling Ink did not come out with the complete planner, this is probably going to be my number 2 after the Hobonichi of potential planners for 2026. But as of now, this is number 3 on my list. Depending on how Sterling Ink, whenever that information is released, this is kind of going to be the runner-up potentially to my 2026 planners. The next planner company that kind of caught my attention that I've never heard of or used, or I won't say that I've never heard of it. It has showed up on my Facebook page before. I just haven't done a lot of details or looking into this company before. But because there were a couple of people who had mentioned this company in one of my videos, it kind of drew my attention. So I decided to go into it, and this is the Hemlock Oak planner. This one is you're able to pre-order now. And in 2026, they have the A5 Minimalist Horizontal Planner. You have the same thing in hardcover and soft flex, along with paper flex. So you have 3 different types of covers depending on what you would want. There's also the vertical, same type of thing. Then they have a B5 version. They have the Duo planner, which is the half year, which is very interesting because that's what I would end up wanting to get, because like I said, I like to have the 2-book system instead of a full year. Then they have the daily planner, a weekly planner, a weekly and daily planner, along with the horizontal planner, and then you have undated planner. So Hemlock Oak has a ton of different planners that could be what you would be interested in, or anything that could basically suit your needs. Hemlock Oak probably has it. So I'm going to go ahead and look at, I'll just do the cloth flex, the daily duo planner. I will say this is probably price-wise the most expensive that I can remember seeing. This is $106, but you know, it could still be a very interesting option if you're looking into it. They have a bunch of different colors. You can pre-order. It's selected to ship around October 15th. With this, looking at the layouts, the reason why this wasn't one of my top contenders after looking through the planner is the daily pages. So this does have a lot of the other things that I would be interested in, but the daily page is just something that would not suit my needs. The reason is I feel like the daily page has a lot of stuff that I would not use. So this intention section, I probably would not use. I don't need a focus. The schedule is something that I don't really care for. I could always put a washi tape over that section so that something could be easily managed. But the things that kind of just turn me off on it is the today section. It has these like little check boxes, which would be great if you just want to have a running to-do list or something like that. But I use the daily pages as a journal. And I think having these boxes on this one row would just be too distracting for me, and it would just annoy me more than anything. It's the littlest things that can turn you off on something, but this layout just does not work for what I would need in a daily page. And because the daily page takes up so much of the book, I mean, you have 365 days in a year, so that's 365 pages that are not suited to what I would need. It's just not anything that would really fit for what I like. So that was a major con for me, and I don't know if I could get over it. The other thing that I was uncertain if I would like or not, this book is with 120 GSM paper. Now that is much thicker than the paper that the Hobonichi and the Common Planner has, which is good for those who have like gel pens or like different types of pens that they want to use that just don't work well with the Hobonichi Cousin or like Tomoe River paper. But with it being 100 GSM paper, I don't know if that would cause even more bulkiness, because if I'm using it for a daily planner and I have stickers and I have pictures and other things kind of tipped into my planner, I don't know if 120 GSM paper is just going to add just enough of the thickness to it to make it even more bulkier and kind of annoying to me. Like I said, little things will annoy me, and I don't know how that paper would work. That was one of the options that I had in 2026, but after seeing the daily pages and then the 120 GSM paper, it's just something that I don't think would work well for me, but I wanted to go ahead and put this in the video just in case it would work for you. One of the planners I had never heard about is Estelle. I had no idea what this planner company, I had no idea this planner company even existed. And these are the 2026 magnet planners that Aura Estelle has. You have the daily magnet planner, the weekly essential magnet planner, and then the weekly vertical magnet planner. So we'll just look at the daily planner. And so the thing that turned me off on this is just the layout. This just doesn't work for what I'm interested in. However, it does have some very interesting layouts. So you have yearly goals, you do have a monthly spread. I don't really care when it has extra space at the bottom because I would much rather just have that filled in, but maybe you just want notes down there. I don't quite know with this page what I would do. I don't understand the purpose of this page. It's not anything that looks to be something I would be using or interested in. I just don't understand the purpose of this. It's got action steps, like the day in the month, the whole days in the month, an action, goal, and progress. I don't know the purpose of this. I don't know. And then it does not have so it has this is like the weekly page, I guess. I just don't, I don't think this layout works for me, but it is a option for those who are looking at trying to get a 2026 planner. Maybe this would be fitting for what type of planning you would need. This just does not have anything that would be interesting to me, but because I had never heard of it, I had people mention it in my previous videos. I just wanted to bring it out to those of you who would be interested in 2026 planners. This is an option for you. This does have Tomoe River paper, 52 GSM white. It has a Monday start. It's lay flat. It does have yearly and monthly pages along with weekly and blank grid pages. And this is some of the content that is in this planner. One of the other planners I have heard about before, never really looked into previously, is the Wonderland 222 company. This is their 2026 collection. The website does have clear covers for all sorts of different planners. They do have the A5 weekly planner, you have B6 weekly planners, you have A6, B6, you have all those different, there's a bunch of different sizes of planners available on the Wonderland website. You do also have weekly planners, you have notebooks, you have undated quarterly inserts. Let's take a look at the A5 weekly planner. This one also has unstacked weekends, or you have stacked weekends. I would do the unstacked because I just want to have all the details for the entire week. Looking at the 2026 A5 planner, this is all in one unstacked weekends. I'm going to flip through some of the pictures that they have. This is the weekly spread. So I do like, they have like this little section up top because in my planner I do put birthdays, I have stickers for trash days. I've also recently been putting the weather here. So I do like having dedicated space up above, which is nice. The time slot so we have is from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. I feel like that's a little too short. I did previously work starting at 6 a.m. And sometimes I do have things happening before 7 o'clock. So I would wish the time would have been a little bit longer. And then going to 9 p.m., while that works well with what I would use, because if you've seen any of my Plan With Me's, I do have a washi that I separate my active time from my me time, and I do that at 9 o'clock. So this would work really well for what I need, and I do like that. But I can see where this could be a deterrent because some people may have things happening after 9 p.m. and this spread just doesn't have that option. I also, for me, do like having this blank space because in my Hobonichi Cousin Avec, I do use this space for my me time, like I said, and that's where I list out the books that I'm reading, any videos I'm doing after 9 o'clock, basically just annotating what I'm doing for myself during the time when the rest of my family is asleep. So I like to document my me time, which 99% of the time is reading. So I do like this weekly spread layout. This does work really well for me. This is a kind of a 4-year at a glance. I don't think I would ever need to look at 4 years ahead of time, but you have that. This is the monthly spread. I like how it fills up the full page. I also do like that it has the month prior and the month following calendar there. So that way if you just want to see, what the month was before and the month was after, you have that little picture down at the bottom. So I do like that. I don't really like how there's 2 bolded rows. It's just a personal preference, but I could get over it. It's not that big of a deal. This is like the year at a glance. I would like this to have a little bit more space because I feel like this is a lot of open space, and I don't know what people would need to write in a quarter of a page for empty space for a year at a glance. I just think that's an excess empty space that could have had a little bit more up top and kind of evened it out a little bit more, still having space down here, but I think this is just a little bit extra. This is a quarterly page. I do like this. I don't think I would ever use it. I don't have quarterly actions that I need to use on pages, so I see this being unnecessary for me. But I know a lot of planners do like to have quarterly pages. The Common Planner has that, so that's going to be a page I'm not going to use if I end up getting the Sterling Ink Complete Planner, because I think this is here as well. So the quarterly pages are just something I don't end up using. I do like that this spread or this planner does have a dedicated habit tracker page for each month. Again, I don't think this is a lot of just excess space. I don't know what you would use it for. I would just rather have an entire page of habits, because you could always use habit tracker up here and then like a mood tracker. But I do like that there is a dedicated habit tracker for each month that takes up a full page. I don't think I would end up using this either. This is a like monthly overview. It's not dated. From what I could tell, it's just empty spaces that you could list out your overview. I don't think this is, I just don't think that it'd be anything that I would be interested in. You have an index that I would also not end up using. A key I would not end up using. You have these blank pages. This is your daily spread. This was the #1 reason, other than those excess pages that I just wouldn't end up using. This page, this is what has turned me off of the Wonderland 222. It has a spot for you to put a date on here, but I just would rather have it dated for me, and it's just inconvenient having to write a date for 365 pages. So I also don't really care for the lines that are here. I would have just much rather it had been just an empty page. With the hours here, or I don't know what this number section is supposed to be for. So that was another thing I just didn't see the point of. But that is the Wonderland 222. It does have some good things that I do like about the planner, but it also had a bunch of things that I just did not care for. This one is also open for pre-orders, and I believe it's supposed to be shipping probably in October as well. It doesn't say on here that I can tell. This one does have 52 GSM paper, just like the Common Planner. It does not say that it's Tomoe River paper. I'm assuming it probably is. But it does have a bunch of stuff that is beneficial, like I said. It's just the layout doesn't work for what I would end up using it as. And then the last planner that I wanted to talk about that I had never heard of before is the Faded Chronicle Planner. This one is also open for pre-order. It's supposed to ship late October. So this does have some interesting things. So on the website, it has the A5 Collective. It has a Traveler's Notebook all-in-one, B6 Compact, and then it also has collections. So if you want to get all 3 colors, I don't quite know why you would need to have 3 colors of the full year planner unless you're buying it for yourself and 2 friends. I don't quite understand why you would need all 3 colors in one purchase, but they have that option. And then they also have a bundle, which is a one of each bundle. So you get to choose colors and take home a combination of the lineup that you want, which is nice. And then it also has a sticker bundle that you can purchase as well, along with some covers, some like plastic PVC covers. They have that also, that is in like a white floral design, which I actually really like, and probably would have bought this in 2025 for my Hobonichi Cousin if I would have known about it. So this is definitely a company if you're looking at getting a PVC cover and you don't want just the plain white or plain clear cover, this could be an option for you. But let's look at the A5 2026 full year, because that would be the planner that I would end up using. So on the pre-order with this through Faded Chronicle, you can get it without the sticker bundle, with both sticker bundles. You can get it with a deco sticker bundle, a functional sticker bundle. So there's a bunch of different options that you can use. It also has 3 colors. What I did really like about this website in particular is at the very bottom, there is a like flip through for every single page if you are interested. So I'm going to turn off the sound so I don't have to hear the flipping sound, but this allows you to go through 512 pages so you can see exactly what each page looks like before you buy it. I love this. I love it when companies do this. So you have the 2026 calendar along with 2027 and 2028 if you would like to look ahead 2 years. You have a blank page. You have quarter 1. It does give a bunch of different things that you can do for quarter 1. So you have what I associate it with the Hobonichi Cousin. This is kind of like what the Hobonichi Cousin looks like. It also does have these different layouts or different things that you would want to use potentially for a quarter 1 like check-in type thing or planning. Again, I don't ever use quarterly check-ins, so I would not end up using any of those pages. Then we have this, which I think would be beneficial if you want to like plan for vacation time or birthdays or things like that. It's kind of like a year at a glance for that type of planning. So I do like this page. Then you have at the beginning of the month, you have a blank page along with kind of a listing of what you could list out for each particular day, along with an open text box. This would be very beneficial for me for like birthday list, for doctor's appointments, those like big things that you would normally put on a monthly planner. I do like this layout. And then you have the month. Again, you have this text box at the bottom. I don't ever really use it other than to put like decorations. I don't see the point in it, especially because you do have a sidebar over here. I don't see the point of this bottom piece, but I do like the layout. And then this one, what's interesting is you get 2 different weekly spreads. So this is the horizontal weekly spread. So you have little squares up here that you can do whatever you want to with it. You have here, you know, kind of a split for each day. Then you have like a habit tracker over here, and then you have 4 boxes that you could do for whatever. So if you wanted to do like workout lists that you want to do, checkout or to-do lists or whatever, you have these 4 little squares that you can do whatever you want to with it. And then on the following page is the vertical spread. So in this planner, you get both, which is very interesting. And I would actually be very interested in this planner. However, we'll get to the cons and the reason why I've decided not to go with this planner. But I do really like that you get both spreads in this planner. And I can see the benefits of having both. This could be very beneficial if you want to track, like I do, your like how long appointments take, your work times, the things that you have that you want to see functionally, your schedule. This is really good for that. But then if you also want to have like what you want to make for dinner on Monday, you can have this listed also without deterring or taking away from the vertical plan. So it could be I could see this as being very good for those of you like me that like to list out everything that you need to do for your day. I really do like both of these spreads. So you have all of these for the week, and then I'm going to flip forward to the blank page or the daily pages at the very end. So unfortunately I can't like type so to say I want to go to page 300 or 400 or whatever. I have to click. So I'm gonna be clicking through here really quickly. And also I can't click this like go to the end button. It doesn't work. Okay, so this is the last week of 2026. This is basically the very beginning of 2027, and then it goes straight into the daily pages. The reason why this is the book that I would not be choosing is you have an entire half of your book is blank pages, and that's supposed to be for your daily pages. So because I said earlier, I use this as a daily journal. I don't want to have to fill in the dates on every single day in my daily pages. So while I liked everything else about the planner layout, if this would have had dated pages, this would have been very, very high contender for my 2026 planner, but I do not need all of these pages as blank. I need them to be dated. So that is the Faded Chronicle planner. The other con to this is it is also in only a full year option. You don't have the half year options, but you know, the Sterling Ink only has a full year option currently as far as I know for their complete planner. So it's not a complete deterrent, but having a full year plus not having the dated pages at the end, it kind of knocked it as the top contender for my 2026 planner. This also does have the Tomoe River paper, just for those of you who are very interested in the type of paper this is. And this is what the layout or the pictures of the planner look like. Okay, so those were all of the planners that caught my attention for a potential 2026 purchase for me. I still think that I'm going to end up going with the Sterling Ink complete planner along with the core planner and the Hobonichi Weeks dupe, but through the Sterling Ink website. I do not remember what it was called off the top of my head, but I think for 2026 I'm going to be a Sterling Ink planner instead of a Hobonichi planner, but that is all dependent on when the website to Sterling Ink opens and a little bit more details come out about each of these planners. If it turns out that I don't like the details that are given whenever that information is published, I'll end up going back to Hobonichi. So we'll have to see what actually happens. I will definitely be doing a unboxing once my planners are bought and received, so you can see what I ended up choosing for 2026. But I am very excited to finally get my purchases done for 2026 so I can start preparing and planning ahead for my next year. And with that, that is going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. In the comments down below, let me know if any of these planners caught your attention or if you decided to purchase them and why. I'd be very interested to see what your thoughts are on these planners. And with that, that is going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!